Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to my 5-7 golden lineup. Whenever I'm wondering what to play in War Thunder, or if I'm needing to recoup some silver lions, my pay-to-play 5-7 lineup is definitely my go-to place. I recently blew all of my GE on the Polish P47, and I'm glad that I did. I think I will get the British Harrier when it goes on sale. I bought the American one and I'm not disappointed in the least. And I mean, by the time that happens, anything could take its place. So maybe it'll be 2 or 3 years before I pick it up. But I probably will. Anyway, I am a huge fan of premium vehicles, as you probably know. I like big numbers. I like seeing those hefty Silver Lions rewards, and I mean, I'm not in a big hurry to research anything in the game, even for the stuff that I'm really excited about. I know I'm gonna play lots of this game, so I'll get it eventually. And you know what? I've noticed that a lot of vehicles are more fun if you let them sit and cool off for a while, so that you can be the one playing that vehicle and not your entire team. Or your entire team and the entire enemy team, in the case of the Harriers, which, by the way, they're just really cool. I still love my Harriers. So I decided to do something a little bit different today, and that is to do the thing that I always do when I'm looking to shift gears. And yet, I haven't taken out the American T20 medium tank all that often, so I decided to start my foray with this tank, and it is Did we just kill a tiger with artillery? Hell yeah! I'll take it. And a nice shot into one tiger, a bounce through the upper hull armor, or the hull roof of a Panther. I'll take it. We're firing on all cylinders now. My real goal, as always, is to get into close air support aircraft. I don't know if you can hear the happy screeching from the hallway, but Brooklyn and Zoe are playing together, and that gave me what I thought was an opportunity to make a video, so we'll just have to see. I was a little too quick on the poking out there against the Sturm What's-It, and yet the 50 cal finished the job that my poor gunnery skills gave to it. And you're starting to see the strengths of this medium tank. It really is the meta medium. Just enough armor to survive a hit sometimes, especially from a hull down position. The turret armor, while not particularly thick anywhere, has some good angles and some overlapping that's made all the more effective by volumetric shells. And it has that reliable, very fast reloading, dangerous American long 75. Oh, sorry, we call it a 76. Anyway, Tiger, try to get the hull shot, and I am just a bit too high. That's, again, my bad, and that puts me in a difficult position. You can see I have teammates around me, but I'm sort of sticking out here, and I get the impression that the Panther and that Tiger are going to try and focus me. Well, I mean, maybe that was just my paranoia, but I'm not quite sure what happened there. It looked like I hit the Tiger turret, but it gave me a penetration on the Panther, so either it punched through both sides of the Tiger turret and then the Panther, which might be possible, or it just decided, no, you were actually aiming over there, because actually the servers are a lot more stable than recent. Oh, avoid the rock. I don't want to get caught on that. And thankfully, this thing's solid mobility comes through for me there. The fact that this is a much lighter weight tank than the T21 that would supersede it in design definitely came through for me there. And when you're facing off against Panthers and Tigers in this thing, if you play carefully, if you operate from a defensive hold down position or flank and spank, then this thing will really come through for you. Again, nothing new when it comes to American tank design here. Pretty good armor that's really not reliable all the time. So, medium tank, right? You're not designed to stop big, heavy anti-tank rounds. You're better off trying to avoid them. And this is, again, one of those tanks that pays. It pays to play carefully and conscientiously, and also to not get focused by aircraft. There's only so much you can do, and the rest is just dumb luck. But I do appreciate Ivan in his T-34 taking the lead there so that I could continue to push forward. Deep war, comrade. Deep war. And the girls are just having an absolute blast. I don't know how much of that happy screeching and wailing you can hear, but that's how they communicate joy, with excessive volume. And it's always nice to see them bonding as sisters. Their two personalities are so funny. Zoe would get totally walked all over by Brooklyn if she wasn't a little firecracker herself. She definitely stands up for herself, and she has a sister that will not allow her to operate any other way, because if you don't know what you're doing, Brooklyn will tell you what you're doing. And what we are up to right now is, well, sort of trying to flank. This is kind of a complicated position, and this is where the close quarters of this map really comes to play. And I actually like the many avenues for flanking that you see in this map, at least this portion of the map. You can see that there's lots of good cover in this area, but at the same time, if you flank, you can overcome that. You can even shoot people through that soft cover. You see our allies shooting at that Panther helped us to know where they are. Well, we sort of rolled the dice on that one, but they came up Toshio this time, and I'm totally fine with that. It looks like there's one or two enemies on the other side of that low rise, so what we're going to do is consider catching them as they push forward. So we're pushing into a position where we would be able to do that. This is a very risky maneuver on our part, but we've already gotten so many kills that, I mean, at this point we're just thirsty for blood, glory, and possible destruction of our own vehicle. And we see the poor little Jagdpanzer 38T just not checking his angles, and well, the enemy team just doesn't expect me to be here. I am not sure why that didn't go through the Tiger turret. I suspect as we try to catch the tip, but he's just a little bit more circumspect than we expected him to be. I think what happened is we hit like the space of the armor on the Tiger turret where that little overhang of the turret overlaps the side armor. So just a weird interaction. I get it. We'll just try again. We'll aim better next time. It's definitely one of those things that has come with shell volumetrics, and it's probably not going to go away anytime soon. There's just certain areas of armor that you need to learn to avoid. I hoped we'd be able to go through the lower side armor of that Tiger, but he was just perfectly angled. Can't angle the cupola though, and our shrapnelization does manage to get the gunner in that case. Now we try again, and what was that? Was that physics? Is that how physics works? That bounce, I tell you, was just odd. But the side armor is weird right now, and we're going to accept it. So we'll boop him in the snoot as you do, just to make sure he doesn't get another shot on us. And the cupola works just as well as it did the first time, nay, better, picking up 2 crew members on the other side of the cannon breach. A cheeky shot at the Panther, who was already engaged, for another kill, and you can see we are just swimming in booty now. Arr! So I really don't care if I die now. In fact, I'm sort of looking forward to it, because I seek the glory of close air support, and this has just been a fantastically successful round in the premium T20 medium tank. It really is a great tank. If you're looking for something very similar, the T21 is really, or is it M21? Something like that. Anyway, it's an improvement in terms of firepower, not a much higher battle rating. I think it still has the low speed stabilizer and very similar armor layouts. The thing that it lacks though is the mobility that this tank enjoys, being significantly lighter than subsequent American quotes medium tank designs. American tanks started getting more and more hefty over the years, and I don't know. Again, things happen. Parry, riposte, cannon barrel deviates my round, and yet does not suffer any negative consequences from such interaction. Physics, I tell you, physics. I suspect that cannon barrels are intentionally more durable than they probably should be in this game on account of what they can accomplish, just to avoid the what would I say, the disappointment of tankers having their cannon barrel constantly taken down, and absorbing a shot from the lengthy 75 on the Panzer IV, and trading for that, no loss of crew but instead damage to the cannon breech. You know what, I'm totally fine with that, and that's something you encounter quite a bit with the turret layout of this tank. Your breech is going to eat a lot of shots, and thankfully the German team here was anything but aggressive until they popped enough smoke for me to take on the Panther by himself here. You see, if he hadn't popped smoke, he'd have the supporting fire of his teammates. But no, he decided to push forward on someone who was just finishing up a cannon breech repair under the cover of smoke, giving me, of course, the advantage. But that is something that is short-lived, as the best German medium tank, the T-34, takes me down. Rockets from range, well, a certain range, I suppose, with the P-47, an ideal one, you might say. Just look at the beautiful effects on the ground there. Gaijin, napalm bombs when? I think it's time. Fire looks so good in the game right now, and always nice to actually pick up a kill with the rockets. We drop the big bombs off the wings and managed to pick up a Tiger. Definitely a helpful kill. A lot of the vehicles in this match are 5.7, so taking down a 5.7 heavy is definitely beneficial. The old rope-a-dope on. Yes, I'm definitely outflying that. Well, I thought it was a Panther, but what is that? Nope, some thick boy Stir Emil, I think. And then the 500-pound bomb finishes the job. The P-47 is just so fun to fly, and this Polish version of the P-47 MRE is actually technically not as good on account of its slightly smaller Silver Lions multiplier, but instead you have just an absolutely beautiful plane, and it's an opportunity to have what is effectively a free backup vehicle to your P-47 M1RE at a similar price, I think. Of course, it never goes on sale. It's sort of a buy it while it's hot event vehicle, and I spent too much money on it because, well, I'm a collector. Weird interaction on the turret of that, what's the name of that Frenchy boy? I can't quite remember. And it looks like we're not going to be able to go through his hull armor. He does have Das Langen Schlangen cannon, so that means he's going to have the thick hull armor. Thicker than a Panther, I think. Anyway, we know where to shoot him, and he was just way too exposed to deal with that. And by the way, welcome back to the M18 Black Cat, now with shittier looking camo. Gaijin did us all the favor. Excuse me, my lungs I think I might actually have another strain of COVID. I've got the COVID shits and that wheezing cough, but it's definitely not as bad as it was when I definitely had it. So, you know, I'm just happy to get over all of this stuff. I'm the kind of guy that catches everything that's going around. It's like my immune system is like, come one, come all, let's have a ball. And I know I'm going to reload faster than the tiger, so I'm going to go ahead and set up for a second shot on him. I knew I was aiming too low there, and I paid the price, but the M18 has the mobility to get me out of trouble just in time as a teammate comes and finishes off the tiger. P40, so that means those were, what? I think those are like 250-pound bombs. That was a nice bombing run, in other words. I'm not sure if he slammed into the ground after that. I don't think he did, so nicely done, sir. Nicely done. And we'll go ahead and take this opportunity to push up now. I'm a big fan of the M18. I think it recently got a reduction to its max horsepower, and before update 2.0 it really seemed to make a lot of a difference, and I think somehow the M18 picked up a little bit of mobility again. That's good to hear, because this tank is absolutely meta in terms of a tank destroyer, especially a lightly armored tank destroyer. It enjoys the turret that the best TDs have, aiming a bit too high there against das Sonderkraftfahrzeug, and that full 10 degrees of gun depression is just not quite enough to aim at what I assume was an Ostwind. Excuse me as I reposition. I'm not sure why I constantly sit on my legs when I'm sitting here, but well, I kind of buggered myself there a little bit. Always creates that awkward moment in the video when you hear me grunting and straining. But anyway, I mean, maybe that's your thing. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. Sonderkraftfahrzeug down as he succumbs to a very quick death by engine fire, and we look via commander's binoculars for that SPAA that we sighted, and yet he's nowhere to be found. I like how they've reworked this map in many senses. They've also reworked the ground textures, which I think actually kind of look bad. I think a simpler sand texture would be good, because the way they've done these, I don't know how to put it, but like the snake patterns of the wind on the sand. As someone who grew up, well, and still lives with access to sand dunes, this kind of looks bad. It doesn't follow the course of the wind. It's just sort of a one-size-fits-all texture, and they probably would have been better with, again, something a little bit simpler, especially since it flattens down to a pretty crummy-looking 2D fairly soon. And also, I don't know what the deal was with my anti-aliasing, but you can see just some really bad, it looks almost like a pixelated heat haze on the tops of these rises, and I think that again has something to do with the way anti-aliasing is working in War Thunder 2.0, and you know what? It's not usually an issue, and I've seen some bad aliasing in this this game. That's when a curved surface or a straight line at distance ends up looking all pixelated and square-edged, and it's just, your brain goes no, even if your wasties are telling you yeah. But you know what? Overall, this game is looking absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure they're going to continue to tweak things like the textures. This is like the 5th sand texture that they've used on this map, and the fact that it's not my favorite, you know what, that's fine. I'd prefer if it was just a very, very simple, clean looking texture, more relying on subtle shading in terms of lighting than trying to get all fancy with this this pattern they put on here. I get what they're going for. It didn't work. That's one of the things I hate sand. In War Thunder, sand just doesn't look good, and they've never managed to make it look good. And I think what they're doing is that they're trying too hard. But you get into this scrubby area, and by the way, the addition of more bush to this wasteland here definitely helps create more defensible zones. There's not an excess of hard cover on this map, but this walking soft cover is definitely appreciated, especially at a tier where you don't see thermals and fancy cheat ray vision at all. And on that note, I've just really been enjoying finally playing some mid-tier, lower tier gameplay in War Thunder after all of my harrowing Harrier experience, and this is definitely the way to recover those silver lines. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you in the next video. Bye bye.